Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a fresh episode of the Empiremind Records Podcast Show. Our guest for today is one of Afrobeat's most significant producer with a catalog of so many smash hits, from P-Square Shaking E to Adekunle Go High, and Angela Kidjo Grammy Award-winning song titled Dignity. Welcome to the show, the one and only Vtek the Awesome.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another very interesting episode of the Empiremind Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick L. And today's episode, as usual, will be very, very interesting. You know why? Because we have one of the most significant Afrobeat music producer. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grammy Award winner, songwriter. When you talk about mixing and mastering, and a super club banger certified music producer, ladies and gentlemen, is right here, the one and only Vtek. Awesome.
Yes,
welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Make some noise.
It's a pleasure to be out
Good to have you here.
I mean, it's a pleasure to finally link up.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So this is good.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Yeah.
Anytime you come on the show, your energy, and you always have a lot to say. And that's the beautiful thing about you.
Thank you.
So glad to have you on. All right, so we have a lot to talk about, right? Yeah, because you're now a Grammy Award winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song with Angela Kidjo, titled Dignity. You co-wrote and produced that song.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so tell us a story about it, because it's a great one.
So, me and Yemi, the story starts from me and Yemi.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah. I mean, she and I are pretty cool. We've been cool for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that period, she was always giving, when she has features, she always gives me to mix her vocals, help her arrange, to just share ideas. So that record came because Angela Kidjo wanted to do a song with her.
Okay, you get me.
So Angela Kidjo sent her the project.
All right.
And then she was like, this thing sounds, it was okay, but it's that way.
Alright.
So she's like, Vtek, come listen. I listened to it. I was like, okay, nice. Hey, Angela Kidjo. By the way, at that time, I was officially bored of producing. So I wasn't really interested in producing music. In fact, that year, I believe that was 2020. That's when I made that song. That was the only production I did that year. Everything else was, a side gig.
Yeah.
But major work, that was the only song.
Yeah.
So, a month and 2 weeks later, I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Wow.
And that's when I got to the producing, and of course, Angela Kidjo was blown away. We never met, because she was, I think, in maybe France or somewhere, but, we were speaking via emails, me, Yemi, her.
Yeah.
So there was a skeleton that was brought. It was a full track, so I flipped it on its head. I did it. What you hear is very far from what it was.
Wow.
And then you start rubbing minds. Okay, arrange here, put this here. Okay, let's sing that instead. Me and Yemi were in Lagos. So we were communicating on a tighter note. Yeah. And then we did the record. They sent it off. Hey, that was it. I went up with my life. I was like, hey, I want to dance.
Like, what do you think it'll be a hit song?
No idea. In fact, when the album was ready to drop, I heard, the song is on the album. I was like, nice. I had no sense that, oh my God, Angela Kidjo, surely I'll get a Grammy. No, at all. So I kept doing my thing, working on other stuff. At that time, I was also working on The Voice. I was working on Kunle Go's album, the one with the song with Pastor Rankin, the one with It Should Have Been Something. Yeah. So there were things going on. Yeah. I was about to relocate. Okay. Personally, I was just tightening my relationship space. So I was transitioning from single guy to married. So you see how I did not even have time where I sat and went, wow, Angela Kidjo. I was the only one who knew it was cool. But I was like, hey, wait, thank God, on to the next. So I think it was that year that the announcement came that it was nominated for the Grammy. And then I was like, okay, this is like mad. I was happy that it was nominated, right? Yeah. Cool. I'm like, hey, thank God, man, this is such a big deal, blah, blah, blah. Again, life takes over, wedding plans and all of that. I think one of my friend's daughter was having a birthday on the day of the Grammy Awards. Okay. So we went, spent time, we went home. I was in front of my computer. I think I was even having an argument with the client on the phone. And then a friend of mine who was in the Grammy, at the Grammy, now sent a message. I said, yo, just won. Whoa. I was like, what? He's like, that Angela Kidjo project, that's the one you worked on, right? I was like, yeah.
Like he hit you up, right?
A clip of himself there. And that was when all the fireworks went boom. Because, so now she won Best Global Album. So by virtue, everyone on the project gets a
Grammy. Yes.
Literal Grammy.
Yeah.
Now, most people say, oh, but you didn't get the statuette. The statuette is based on contribution. I did one song. If I had worked on about 51% of the album in any capacity, I'd have gotten the statuette. But I have them at home.
Yeah.
You guys, that was the big moment. It was like, wow. You know, life was spazzing, people were calling like, man, Vtek, so you're finally a Grammy. I'm like, man, this shit so sorry. I used the report. This was very surreal, right? And it took a while because for me things don't just hit me. Every day it unpacks. And I was like, man, that was a really big
like you didn't see that coming.
At all. Like I wasn't even watching the Grammy. I had no expectations. You can imagine arguing with someone about something. Your mind is not even thinking about it. And then the person that sent the video to tell me that I won with Angela Kidjo won also. So it was like a very, very special moment. And I mean, months later, the plaque or the certificate, the big, it's an award in itself. It came through. Had one of the greatest pleasures because when they gave me, I said I wasn't going to open it. I took it home, and my wife was the first person to open it. Like the pack, well packaged with my name.
I'm sure she must have been feeling like a proud wife. Very proud wife.
So, and here's the fun fact: she almost won also because on that project I did 2 songs. And she wrote the second.
She wrote the second one.
It was only the one with Yemi that made the cut. Wow. So she really won the Grammy, literally. You get me? But it became a big deal because that's something you never stop being a Grammy award-winning producer for life, right? So it just helped me. It gave, of course, more opportunities, more street cred, and by street cred, it's figurative for anywhere in the world I've been. But I tell them, oh, this is Vtek. So when they Google, they're like, oh my God,
see it straight up.
First, then they start checking the portfolio, and they're like, Lord, you've done so much work in so many areas of entertainment. I'm like, hey, I mean, most people don't know. Last year, the third or the 4th most watched movie in the country was scored by me.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand? So
on Netflix, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's my life. Literally just moving on, accomplishing, moving on and accomplishing, all while maintaining the home front. Yeah. Because that's why no one will ever see me looking like the Grammy guy. Yeah. There is Victor. Yeah. There's Vtek. It's one and the same, but you most likely will meet Victor before you meet Vtek.
Yeah, I've met Victor. Yeah, we've actually chilled before.
Exactly.
It was very interesting.
Exactly.
Me, you, and Capital Femi.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's just the way I see it. And I'm really grateful because there's no pattern. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a target. I was not targeting Angela Kidjo. Like, I didn't even care.
Put your mind there.
You get me? And it's so funny that was a connect that came through Yemi.
Through Yemi.
So,
shout out to Yemi Alade, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to Yemi. Yemi and I right now, we are 2 types of, those magnets that like we cannot unsee each other. Okay. That's how far we've come.
Why if he doesn't get jealous though?
Oh no. Right? No. You see, the relationship I have with Yemi, he doesn't have that type of dynamic. Okay. Do you understand? And it's because of the way we went at it. I would say with Yemi, I know a few entertainers that are cool people, but she's one of the realest human beings. Yeah. I mean human, not star. Yeah. Because I see her, the whole TikTok and all of that, and I know how huge she is. Yeah. But when I see her, I just see Yemi. And like the rest of our team, she'll laugh, we'll talk about life, and then we'll do some work. And then we'll disagree, and then we'll settle fight. There are times when she talks to me, and I'm like, okay. And she talks, I'm like, nice. Then she'll call. Like, he has started to Chris again. But that type of relationship. Yeah. And wifey saw it. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. You know, I'm just very grateful for that relationship. Shout out to Taya Ali also.
Yeah, Taya Ali.
That's another very special human. And I also shout out to them for being able to work with me because this business is emotional. You know, there are times that I'm not interested. Imagine they stuck with me to the point of bringing a project with Angelique Kidjo, knowing fully well that Vtek was not interested in producing. At that time, I was already working with Kiss Daniels. I had those stuff with Files. I mean, I was working with so many other people. I wasn't interested in producing them. You know, and Yemi was like, you have to do this one. So it's a beautiful relationship, and I mean, I bet there was a few days ago, and I really from my heart wish her all the best, because that's a cool person. You know, first, then a great musician.
I like that. This is a beautiful one, and your story is very interesting. Your background, where you're coming from. Your father used to be a poet and writer. Then your mother was a singer in the choir with Mike Post, right? So for the benefit of the viewers, tell us, how did this whole music start for you, your journey?
Okay, so I was born into a house with the art. I mean, writing, drawing. I had access to comics, I had access to novels, like literally just anywhere you face is there. So you have it as a buffet. My father was a huge music fan. So we had a buffet of music, or an array of music that's rich. So we're listening to Bob Marley, we're listening to Bob Chagaka, we're listening to Carly Simon, we're listening to, you know, Tony Braxton, or whoever was popping. Like we were not a genre family. Now, my mom too was like that as well. So years later, my mom kind of rose up in the ranks in Night Post, and they had the music troupe. And they were like part of that. You know, my father was a writer, still is a writer, but his primary discipline was engineering. You know, so that's the version of him you will see. But I think it's safe to say I got my flow, my inspiration from
him. Like they inspired you, sort of.
Yes. So I grew up in that type of home, had access to music. Now they were not excited about the prospect of making music as a career. But this is a family. It's like hypocrisy. We grew up around music. We spoke music. You know, I had a piano when I was 6. We had all these toy keyboards. You know, he'll buy a computer, he'll buy a drum machine. So how did you think that we were not going to end up here? You know, and thank God it didn't take long for it to become profitable. Not just money, but you know, when you see a kid growing. And then they started understanding that for me it was more than just it wasn't a fad. It wasn't youthful exuberance and the excitement. It was really, I knew that this place will. I mean, I used to draw very well. I have not drawn for like almost 10 years. Because music just was I knew this was the one that spoke my language best. And then God used that to train me, because I started making beats when I was like 14. My first professional gig was when I was 16. And then I started working professionally, studio space 17. I'm 34. Do you understand? So I've been doing this so long. Literally, I had girlfriends inside music, broken relationships, family drama. You know, so I grew up in the industry in that sense. You know, so I just try to summarize the story. I could tell you at pivotal talk points where stuff changed. When I discovered, I can write. I really like to write. I still write as well. I mean, I'm me and my team, we're working on film, not feature film yet, just short. You know, I've been part of many movie projects. So my talent still stems, but the guy that takes the center stage is music, because I mean, music practically made all of this possible.
All right.
You know.
Great. So here you are now. Your big break, you caught people's attention when you worked with P Square. Personally, or Ejajo featuring T.I. Those were wonderful smash hits. So tell us a story about it. How did you get connected to P Square and the experience working with both of them?
Okay, so working with P Square was again one of those things that I didn't plan. In fact, the year before I met them, my brother, because I said off the camera at my studio.
Yeah.
I used to work with people, then I used to work with people, and then I started working for myself in the studio. My studio was just a car garage.
Yeah.
You know, we had a fish farm, so we converted one of the big, long tables for the studio. I didn't have all the gear I have today, right?
Yeah.
And then my brother, we used to buy all these magazines, Bubbles, Hip Hop World, and all of that, right? So he took out the poster from one of those magazines, and it was P Squares, and he put it on the wall. And I'm like, what is this? I don't even listen. I don't send these guys. So it was so ironic that a year later, I linked up with them. Yeah. So I used to perform. Like I produce, I go on shows. I performed on stage. I produced. I was doing both of them together.
Yeah.
So I believe it was about 2012 years, 2011. The way I remember it is the year that we did Occupy Nigeria, when Goodluck called off subsidy and people decided to start doing shows.
Yeah.
The year after that, the year before that was the year, like December before that was when I met in one show where I actually did perform. The guy who just happened to be a former P Square dancer. He heard my beat. So that year, I don't remember the exact. I think it was 2021, something like that. 2022, 2012 or 2011, one of those 2 years. Then he played beats. Months later, I was like, oh, let's link up. So he was playing the beats. One of his friends heard it. Coincidentally, that friend is like a brother to P Square.
P Square, okay.
So you see, I gave this one, he has the beats, plays the CDs like 8 months later to one guy. That one likes it, man. He likes this Vtek vibe. We met. We started working. And then it's like, instead of working in this garage, just come to Squareville. So that's how I ended up going to Squareville. And of course, they saw me. The person that even took interest in me was Peter, Mr. P. Because they found it very curious that this very small guy, and
with this
when they will talk, I'll give like the technicals, and they're like, wow. And then a few months later, he was like, okay, let's work. So that's how I met P Square. I mean, it was a pleasure working with them. That
was one of the biggest hit songs at the time. Shekini.
Shekini is they actually did confirm that Shekini, that song was the song that took them to North Africa for the first time.
Beautiful.
They had never performed. Most of our big stars, those North Africans, they are practically Arab. They don't care. They can even F with your music from a distance, but to call you for a big carnival, to shut it down. That was what Shekini did. Funny, the year before and the year Shekini came out, which was 2014, I was nominated for Afrima Producer of the Year. The year before and that year, by the way. So I was the first Nigerian to get nominated for Afrima's award. The first Nigerian for Producer of the Year, 2 years in a row. So it was special.
Make some noise. It
was special. I mean, working with them it was a learning curve for me. There was a lot I didn't know. I learned. I built my confidence, and it was a very big way to be announced.
Yes, exactly.
Because this is working with the top of the food chain at the time. And here's what even made it interesting. At the time I showed up, their biggest song was Chop My Money Remix. It had already started fading out. So it was like, they don't enter Baba's space. And then 2013 personally drops, and they are number one again. All the whiskey, all the Wandy, all were now under them again. So it was like, who made it happen? Now I must be honest, they kind of drowned me in personally. There was an internal issue because Mr. Paul insisted that he was the producer. But I knew that I was the producer. Those are the things in there that I would say I wish was different. But at the end of the day, I'm just grateful because I look back for the journey that was a start. That was the day we moved. But I look at myself today and man, I've passed those levels where I can't even say it was because of them that I'm where I'm at today. So everything played its part. And we moved the story.
Great, I love it. But how did you feel when T.I. jumped on Ejajo? You were very happy, or did you know about it?
I knew when it happened because they sent me the project and I mixed the song. So I knew. And of course, those are, how do I call it? Those were my first very amazing feeling moments.
Yeah,
because
international
this
artist.
is me, some dude from Agege. My studio was not even tech. Do you understand? My studio was wood. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, at night, rats coming. Because it was just an open garage.
Okay.
That dude that just consistently did this thing. And now you have one of the biggest rappers at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, T.I. was popping then.
Yeah. You know, jumping on your thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I made that thing in the garage, in Agege. So
Yeah.
I knew that this was not some, I made this in one big studio with like 99 people with
Yeah.
music brain. This was just me in
The
front of my
studio with
computer,
rats.
walking and trying to finish because when the rats coming, it's all noisy,
exactly.
you know, and then it's weird.
And T.I. jumped on that
Do you
same
understand?
beat.
So it's like it's crazy. You know, I am one person that can tell you it can happen.
Yeah. This is very inspirational. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. All right. For producers watching right now.
It can happen. I promise you. It can. And you can't tell. I think what it is sometimes you just get up and go to work.
Yeah. Put in the work.
And then also you, the person, you have to I don't want to sound very Christianese, right? Because I wanted to say you have to know who you are, know where God placed you.
Yeah.
Yes. However, another way to frame it is, I've always been ambitious.
Yeah.
And my goal till this day has always been everything comes home. So, when I was working with P-Square, I didn't want to become part of Square Records. I would always do my work like, okay, I worked. I am building me.
Yeah.
So that one day, when I stand up, they will say, that's Vtek. They won't say, oh, that's EM's producer.
Yeah.
That's P-Square's producer. That's Whiskey's producer.
Yeah.
And I think I've been able to achieve that.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. So I think that's where most producers miss it. They want to be part of something great.
Yeah.
Then when they see that they can gain so much, they tear away from it. But from the beginning, even the people you are working with know that I'm not going to sell my soul, proverbial selling soul.
Yeah.
I'm going to build something. When I walk out of this relationship, if I do, I'm not going back to zero.
Yeah.
You know, and that was me. That was me all through. But that's why most people never really saw me with this way.
Yeah.
Because I follow them, work, meet people. Hey, maybe it would have counted for something.
Yeah.
But now I know that if I had done that, I would have been ingested into their world. I would have been and others. I didn't want to be and others. I wanted to be Vtek. You know. And then it was just a crazy idea.
Yeah.
Now it's reality. So again, I say it can happen.
Yeah. Lovely. I love that. So now let's talk about. Okay, make some noise. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, like, you've produced so many hit songs. You've worked with a lot of artists in the music industry. Like talking about Kiss Daniel, Omale, all the new cats, the new generation artists.
Yeah.
Like the big song for Adekunle Go, High, featuring Davido. That was a smash hit everywhere. Club banger certified. So is there any other artists in the music industry you still look forward to working with?
It's funny because, I mean, I've always wondered what it would be like to work with some people like Two-Face. Because me, I like the idea of working with the new cats, but I work with the new cats to certain degrees.
Yeah.
And because of the way I'm wired, I'm looking for an experience.
Yeah.
Opportunities come, but experiences are not just readily there. So I look forward to an experience working with, funny, one musician that I've been very curious about working with, but I never said anything up until this point. It's actually Timmy Dakola, and it's funny because we're family.
Yeah.
Our families are actually family. Okay. But we've just been on different paths.
Yeah.
But for me, beyond just working with Who They Pop, there's a song called It's Okay by Magic.
Yeah.
I mixed that.
Yeah.
The song that Boy Spice, in fact, majority of the Maven guys, with the exception of Rema, it's all Vtek mix.
Yeah, you mixed it. Yeah.
You get Vtek mix or co-production. So if it's about working with them, I already am. Yeah. But internally, people like Two-Face, most definitely I'd love to work with him. Who else would I like? I mean, the people I will mention, they are so outside, but none of them is the popular guys. I mean, I've worked with Davido.
Yeah, of course.
Worked with Whiskey. Yeah. I would like to work with them more because working with them was fun. I really enjoyed it. So I got the opportunity, but also the experience. I think I'll just cap it there because if I start naming names, there's a list of people that are not even in the game anymore. Maybe they're in the background.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that inspired me at times. And I want to just explore.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right. So as a producer, who were the producers who influenced your sound? Both international producers and producers in Nigeria as well. Give us a few names.
It's funny. I really love, and I mentioned his name because I have a lot of respect for what he's achieved. Nelson Brown.
Nelson Brown.
Yes,
OG.
because this guy's why he sound. You know when you were in love with those records, then you didn't know who was doing
who was
them.
behind it.
But I love them. So I always mention Nelson Brown was a
He produced for Plantation Boys, all their hits.
All them guys back in the day. I got to meet him once and I told him that I absolutely am a fan. I'm not lost. I know where this thing started from. I know where I started loving. Now, fast forward, of course, when OJ.
I like what you just did now. That's you giving the respect to the OGs.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So all the new artists you can see, give respect to the OGs.
Yeah, it's a time. And for me, it wasn't like, the day I started hearing Plantation Boys, I went to find out who the producers were. It was much later. I said I like this record. Who made this?
Yeah.
I remember this record was the soundtrack of maybe one heartbreak or one teenage experience. So these were things that were rich for me. Then, when OJB was alive, I was, of course, it was the sound of the time. It was impossible for you not to be influenced by him.
Exactly.
I'm a humongous fan of Koba.
That's the Baba.
I think Koba was the first producer here that made me really think that Yankee sound is possible here.
Very possible here.
Before then, I'm mentioning the likes of Nelson Brown, OGB was dope too, but you could tell that these were Nigerian guys. See, you would hear a record and be like, Jesus, where was this made? And it was made in maybe Maryland or Surulere. I'm like, what? Funny enough, another producer that was very exciting for me, LD. In fact, on my way here, I was listening to Tribe.
Tribesman.
Those were like the jam
classics.
You feel me? So I can't possibly name all of them here, but fast forward, there are lots of guys even till today that inspire me. But the guys that really had the most effect on me, I know Nelson definitely did. OJB did. Cobams, easily. Cobams. Who else can I mention?
What of international producers?
Now, internationally, of course, I'm still a huge Timbaland fan.
Of course, he has to be on that list.
Timbaland fan. I was Nigeria's Timbaland at the time. Right. That's how I patterned my production style based on him. Especially then when music had more range. Not like today where almost all the sounds are the same. Then you could do hip hop, rap, high life, all of them would be popping at the same time. While Nico was blowing up with maybe Vtek, who was rapping, who was also blowing up. Remember when Modai was the guy? You had Mood, you had Two-Face, you had it was like those range. Now everyone's going that way, which is why I don't mention a lot of the guys now. They excite me, I love their stuff, I'm down with them. But to say I'm inspired by them is a reach. To say I'm inspired by them is that, I listened to them and then when I went into the studio and made fire. That is very unlikely because what A is doing, B is doing, same thing but just their touch. So internationally Timbaland, big on Timbo, of course Dr. Dre because I was also a huge rap fan. Loved Dr. Dre, but I love Timbo more.
Which of Dr. Dre's album are you like one of your best? The Chronic or the 2000, the other one?
I'm trying to remember. I think the Chronic, the one with the one with na is the one another the other.
That's the thing. 2000. The second album.
That's the second album, right? Because I had both, but here's the problem. This is why I don't remember it vividly. Is because they had vulgar words in there, so my uncle will let me listen to it. Okay. So I'll listen to Tupac. I'll listen to much later. Please stand up. So I knew that there was the guy that used to make all these things. You get what I mean? And I loved him. I won't say I loved his music personally because I just explained. I couldn't really listen to it. But Dr. Dre was a huge influence, and then I was into rap a lot. So it was like the template.
Yeah.
You know, I found that I also really drew a lot of inspiration from Rodney Jerkins. That's Dark Child.
Rodney, that child.
You know, amazing how I didn't know until I grew. And then I went to check that these songs I drew ideas from them. Rodney Jerkins. Definitely up there. You know, Teddy Riley, that one is Agba, Michael Jackson there. Right. I won't even say Quincy Jones. I will say Teddy Riley. From Jam, you know, Black or White, that Michael Jackson era. That was the guy doing a lot of work. So I listened to those things and ingested them. Then combined it with what I was hearing in Nigeria. You know, it's funny because most people don't know that Lagbaja was also a very dope producer.
Very, very good instrumentalist, saxophonist.
I've watched him produce. I know he's dope. So it's a buffet. I'm like Wikipedia of all the things I've listened to, squeezed together and just coming out of me.
Yeah, with the Vtek sound. Yes. Nice one. Make some noise, guys. It's beautiful. All right. Now let's talk about, because you're married now, right? Because you're married to an entertainer, Fumi Arewa of Project Fame.
Yes.
And she's a beautiful woman. And you know, there's this common narrative where people talk about that the marriage of two entertainers, it doesn't work out. So how have you been able to enjoy your marriage?
Well, marriage for two entertainers, I feel like those tags, those titles, they are smoke screens for the truth. You see, it has never been about entertainers. It has always been about people. Because ultimately they say, they don't get along, you know, the issues, the women, the stardom. I'm like, yo, bank CEO. So also having broken home. Do you understand? Pastors, those ones, they are doing the maddest. Do you get what I mean? But because they are not in your face like the entertainers, like you can say, entertainers, they join together, they work. I'm like, how? Are the entertainers not people? Do you understand? If you have a great personality, we have, how do I call it? We meld. I think that's the word I'll use, meld. We meet. It doesn't matter what you do, we are good. My wife is an amazing entertainer. She's also been at this for years, and yet she understands the game. So I don't deal with issues that I would deal with someone who's not an entertainer. You see how there is a benefit there. Now, I'm a homeboy. She's a homegirl. So you see, these are the things that really matter. When they say two entertainers, check it. It's two types of people. Right. Do you understand? It's not the entertainment itself. It's the people. If you are dating someone, you want to marry two entertainers, this one likes men and likes to be free with them. This one likes women and likes to be free with them. It doesn't matter if they quit music. As far as that issue is there, they break up or they will have issues. And people will say two entertainers. Right? The easy way to put it, has Simi and Adekunle Gold exploded.
Nah, they're still going good.
Like, have you just seen both of them just go, wow. They're still together now. Very strong because it is possible. I think we just need to look inward. People do this a lot. They point out entertainment, showbiz, hardship, but you are the person. If you are rude and you are a pastoress, you will be single until you find someone that can deal with the rudeness. See how it works? So people can't deceive themselves and say entertainment is not. I mean, I don't know who else I would have married because first of all, I am very, very committed to what I do. I love what I do. It would have been hard for someone who didn't understand that same level of love to be my wife because she will always feel like he's choosing music over me. Whereas in my house, we are singing around the house. I'm making a record, that Angelique Kidjo record. When I made it, my wife now was my friend. We are not even officially started dating. She will listen and be like, oh, this is dope. Can you do? You get like it's a,
give you ideas.
And now we will leave the music. There is common goal. You know, we are both bosses, so we understand the responsibility. We are
what comes with it.
We are in our families, right? We are important to people. You get me? So at the end of the day, that's what matters. All that whole you're married, the entertainer, she's a singer, men will be going after. I'm like, but pardon my French, Olosho is to find wife and husband. Right? Who does men more than Olosho? Right? I'm just using an extreme case of let's drop it. They may never be dropped. because every day you say entertainers break up.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, it's not entertainers, it's these people.
Yeah.
Some of these people are broken. They've not dealt with themselves. They want to go and carry another person. Two broken plates without joining the glass together. Of course, it's going to chaos. I know this now. You get funny. May 29th, I will be 3 years in marriage. And me and my wife are
congratulations.
still...
Make some noise, guys.
Me and my wife, we are still baby boy and baby girl.
Okay.
So what changed?
Yeah.
Between the time I was with her and now, I've grown exponentially.
Yeah.
Financially, career equity. I'm at the point where they will say, attention will be too much on him. I'm like, he was always there. So maybe I had the good grace of experiencing some things outside entertainment.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, this amount of money.
Yeah.
Money is great. I'm happy. I can do so much. I can help more people. I can achieve things. But money is like paper from experience. You get what I mean? When it finishes now, some people become depressed. We will still be in the house vibing, laughing because it's like, when it comes, it comes.
It comes. Yeah.
So that's what people need to face. They should stop saying entertainers.
Okay.
Don't go and be following the person that like to, oh God, the words that come to mind, they are too rugged, right?
Yeah.
But let me say, you don't want to follow someone that their eyes outside.
Yeah.
Your wife is so ambitious, or your girlfriend, she doesn't care about the relationship.
Yeah, the relationship.
She likes, let her be a banker, let her be a farmer. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So I think that's just one of the many things.
Yeah.
But that's very important. People need to stop blaming the stereotype.
Okay.
There's no ghost of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just me and you with our issues.
Yeah, very well said. So like the young guys out there who want to get married, can you give them like 2 or 3 things they can look out for in a partner, in a lady they want to get married to?
Okay, so
from your experience.
From my experience, first of all, sometimes that's the wisdom in foolishness. Here's why I framed it that way. You spend your life trying to learn, know, prepare, get information, arm yourself with details. But when it comes down to it, all of those details go out the window when reality sets in. As fighters say, you have a plan until a punch hits your face. Now all of a sudden your game plan is almost. That's a relationship. A lot of people go into relationships with an invisible jotter that they've listed things out. Unless you have God, your list is garbage. I can tell you for a fact. My wife does not look like the girls I've dated. You get what I mean? I said it off camera that my wife is the only Yoruba chick I dated, and I dated 3 Igbo chicks before her. And I was going to jump to the 4th. I'm just saying that somehow I was wired maybe by my experience, by the things I saw, by the things I favored from what I saw, to think that, that is where what I want is. Most people planning to get married need to throw that out the window. Life is open, right? A beggar can give you the business plan that will make you a billionaire. But most people are looking for those plans from billionaires. Right. I'm just using these distant illustrations also to point that, see, take everything you know, throw it out the window. First of all, check inward. I'm a type of guy. What makes me happy? What makes me pleased? What I feel like when I see my future, I can see it merging with this person I am. That is what you, how do I call it? You're exposed to the world and then filter what it gives you. Right. Because if you're a generous guy, you see a lot of selfish people that just want to milk you. But because you are generous, you will see the person that will go, I appreciate that about him. True. I appreciate that about her. It is now your ability to filter. Because what people do is they let everything in and then they lose. But relationship, you have to, first of all, what are your standards? Do you get what I mean? A woman now cannot come into my life and turn me into a male stripper. Extremities. Right. So, those are the things to look out for. What do I want? What do I want? Not what do I expect. When I know who I am, what I want, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, the changes I need to make in my own life, then I can start saying, okay, I met this girl. I think we can work. We can work out. Instead of see hips, see butts, she looks like. She even goes in the kitchen, her food is fire, wow, she cooks. What you are doing is you are ticking the box. People forget that relationships grow. So your wife that is 300 pounds today can be 150 pounds tomorrow. She'll be slim like those girls.
Like those girls.
I mean, now people are doing body. If you tell your wife, we are this so million. Go and now she looks like quote unquote those standards that you put in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's a very careful. It's hard to explain to people who are just they already believe that. See, first we are going into the game defeated. You know, that's another issue. A lot of people are met who say, oh, my women like money.
Yeah.
You like, carry your bucket list. At the base, there is something that says, forget all you know. It's all about money. So that will compromise them.
Yeah.
But through all of that, who are you? You that wanted to love you, can you love you? Do you like yourself? Okay, do you hate yourself?
Yeah.
Great. Find someone that hates accept you. So you guys hate each other together. It's a great way to start because eventually somebody will get tired.
Yeah.
You know, someone that can listen to you also. Because no one's perfect. You know, my wife will tell you for free that we manage each other. But at the core, we know who we are.
Yeah.
Then we care about each other. So if she says, hey Victor, I don't like this thing, I can be heady, but I'll sit and be like, okay, if I follow this advice, it actually improves me. It doesn't make me better for her, it actually makes me better for me. You know, out of these two areas, everything stems. Okay, the sex life, you know, money, you know, advancement. The real two things in the middle that form that tree is identifying you as clearly as you can, then putting that in front of you, and then finding someone maybe like-minded, maybe you'll share interest, and then you all are willing to communicate because marriage is communication. I don't care how you guys fit. If you can't communicate, you can't work. Period. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Communication is key.
Oh God, it's key. That's why some awful people end up working. You know, most of our parents, they pay them. They did not date. They don't say, or you go and marry Ura or whatever.
Yeah. Or they bring one girl from the village.
But how did they marry? How did they work? It's because somehow they are able to, this man that I just met today that I'm marrying next week, he has a temperament. He's not comfortable with me.
Yeah.
Can we do something about it? He's willing to listen. So now they indirectly achieve that same thing that we lack today.
Yeah.
Everyone is coming with their spec, but they are holding on to something that is limiting them. It's communication, self-identification. These two things, out of these two, everything comes out. It's a rich conversation. If we go at it, you know, I'll just be hearing word in the background because it's so much.
It's the words of wisdom. Make some noise in Vtek, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so Vtek, the next one we want to talk about right now, and the reason I want to talk about it is because you have a relationship with one of the artists trending. Talking about the respect to the OGs, Idris Abdul Karim. You have a song with Idris, you've worked with him, he's a friend. He's also a friend of mine, so you see what's going on in the music industry. So can you tell us about it a bit? Like, what do you think the new generation artists not really believing the OGs paved the way for them? What's your take on it? Because Idris is also involved in all of this.
So here's the thing, and it's so funny because it's been a while I spoke to Idris. It's been a while. It's been a long while. I mean, I will always call him out as one person that had a very beautiful effect on me.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a big brother in the business, he was the first. And I mean, the reasons why I would say I distanced myself, it was personal to me. And any day I see him and we talk, I can tell him that this is why I did what I did.
Yeah.
But takes no respect away from him in my eye. You know, he was someone for me. You know, now with respect the way paving. Now, he and I never talk about it because I give him his flowers. Of course, you played your part, but you know how you say we paved the way. You are making a hero out of yourself. That is where I have an issue because without Raskimono, there's no Idris.
Right. There were people before him.
Without Rex Jim Lawson and the Wellington and
Victor Whiteford.
Do you get what I mean? There would be no Raskimono. So let us identify the part we played. I cannot sit here and say, because I started working on Afrobeat when Afrobeat started popping. If not for me, Afrobeat wouldn't have looked. Look at that's playing, that's identifying as a demigod in an industry where a lot of people grinded. Do you understand? I cannot even begin to tell the amount of stress, work, failure that I've had. You didn't do anything there. Do you understand? You played your part. I've met producers that have said, oh, Vtek, I've studied your work. Your work inspired. I'm like, yeah, thank God. I'm not going to sit on air and say, it's not for me. This guy can no come out. I'm grateful. No. Because it's like a wall. It's like the wall in front of us. There are all these graffiti paintings. Yeah. You come, you write your own and go. If your contribution is epic enough, by all means, but you can't come and tell me, truthfully, Idris, you cannot say to Vtek that he paved the way for one reason. When we've not been communicating, what has been happening for the guy? If you pave way, that means you made a path that we can all follow. But we know that the game does not have a path. Same industry where somebody will carry hundreds of millions and spend just to be noticed. Another person will do a TikTok video and blow up. So now that person that did the first TikTok video that blew, will he come and say, I paved the way for them? Do you see how it's a bias? It's a very strong position to have. But I think it's unfair to those who your contribution didn't have any effect on. That is, now I wasn't down with Bonner's reaction to what Idris said, but at the point, there was a time he fell off. Like people had already written him off. Dude went to whether it was the UK.
You're talking about Bonner Boy, right?
Yes, in the context of that Idris and Bonner's situation, Bonner went. Who knows what he went through? Was the dude depressed? Your way that you paved was not working for him, quote unquote. Dude found people there. Dude bet on himself. Dropped the album with Ye. Everywhere scattered. Now you expect that guy to give you flowers. It's not fair on the guy. Do you understand? If he fell off and he came on TV and said, hey, that way you paved for me destroyed my life. Do you understand? How do you handle that? Your way is not only designed to make people succeed, right? So it's a very delicate place, and I respect Idris. Nothing can be taken from him. I think there was so much
it's actually a very, very interesting personality.
Oh, yes, he is. And a lot of what he says, facts, truth, and he's very inspiring. But you see that way paving thing? That's what I noticed with the OGs I met. Initially, a lot of the OGs have shoulder pads because they expect some kind of respect. It's back to the culture, the falsehood of senior, junior, Oga, staff. But that you don't know me. There was a show I went for back then with my ex. We went to perform. All the OGs were just coming and chanting us. We were supposed to perform. We ended up not performing because this one will come. This one will come. All those people in that room now, unless they have businesses outside music, I can confidently say that what I have is probably more than what they have, money-wise. And this is not mocking anymore. This is just fact. The business is different now. Right? So imagine if one of them in that room had gone, young chap, you're trying. You manage all this craziness. Hey, you did try. Right. I'll be sitting here saying no more. I shook his hand and it motivated me. Now I can't say anything about them. So now when they say they paved the way, that means Two-Face too can come and say, I pay win, and me first win international award. Guess what? Even after his award, we still had issues with this award.
True.
There were still people fighting internally to bring it here. Now, that person that successfully made the crossover, is he going to sit until this way paving thing will tire person? Because the way will be shaped like a tree. You won't even know the way you follow. So I think people just have to be humble with their contribution and identify.
Even if you're an OG or both the new artists, like
when you get up, first of all, thank you God for life and the opportunity to express my talent. What I did, I know it made an impact. It's funny because he talked about the fight with 50 that led to the value. What they call it, the compensation for the artist. I grinded for years before I saw that money. So I know that his actions did not influence that. You see how a burner can be pissed? Because it's like, dog, you did your part. I think you didn't come here. When you left your home, you didn't come that I want to pave way for the youth. Happenstance happened. So be humble. That's the way I see it. I'm glad to do my part. Grateful. Hey, I wish you all the best. let someone call you and say, "Oh, you inspired me." Then you can say you paved the way for that person.
But truthfully speaking, though, you know what I noticed after the fight with the whole 50 Cent incident, there was now this change in the way they treat the local artists and international artists when they come to Nigeria. They make them, like, they merge them, they're together, they perform together on stage. There was a difference, but then it was like when the international artists come to Nigeria, they just separate, this one go here, this one go here, if you notice. So after the whole 50 Cent thing, I think I noticed a change.
So now,
that's my own take though.
Here's the thing, First of all, remember that 50 Cent thing, it's not like he just went to fight for the industry. Right. Let's get that part
professional fight.
Have stance. Do you understand? It's like the first incident that led to NSAS. The one that they said the video came out in Delta and then blah blah blah, NSAS bust out. Then if the person in the video is alive, you can't come out and say, "Yo, I went out to be harassed by the police so that in 1 year they will now do a protest." Nobody really plans that. So I can't say, "Oh, you were strategic." There were people, however, in the background that were strategic. And I know at least one or two of those stories. So it is not his action that broke the ice. It was a collective. I'm saying that I used to go and perform and I still got that treatment that they said they fought off. So this thing was just a profound moment. But it was not it. I cannot agree that one action changed everything.
Okay.
Because I know for a fact that it didn't. Yankee artists were still treated like gods here. Do you understand? So that's just the fact.
All right. Shout out to all the OGs and the new artists anyway.
Yeah, shout out to the OGs, man.
All right. So, Vtek, before you go, what are you working on? What should your fans look out for this 2024?
2024, I mean, it's going to be packed because I have a company called JAV.
JAV.
JAV. It's an abbreviation.
All right.
So we handle all things entertainment. You know, of course, I'm working with a lot of major artists. That's always every year. A couple of songs at the top, blah blah. That's normal. But personally, we're working on a project. I am working on a project. I have not put out music in maybe like 3 years. So Vtek, the artist, is coming alive for sure.
All right.
You know, then my wife, who just happens to be an amazing artist, we put out a project 2 years ago, and it did pretty well.
Yeah, it did.
You know, the capacity that we put into it, we just had to slow down in 2023 for personal reasons. So 2024, she's waxing hers. Then I'm going into the film space. I've always made film.
You mean the scoring of
scoring, but now I'm also going to be producing
as well.
Because my brother just so happens to be an amazing visual guy. So we are pulling our resources. So if I was to reel it out, it's a lot, right? It's going to be short films, it's going to be potentially a film. And it's going to be hitting the cinemas. It will hit. Then my personal project, my wife's project, then a few collaborations here with some major artists, you know, some businesses I'm a part of, you know, internationally that I can't talk about.
Right.
But it's going to be a very great year. You know, and it will be there for everyone to see.
All right, we're watching out for it. Vtek, before you go, to the artists watching and producers, some words of advice to them, like how they can make it in the music industry.
How they can make it? One, why are you here? I keep saying this thing. Too many people don't have a why. They don't know why they are here. Oh, I like music, blah blah blah. Why are you here? I told you, my goal was, have this thing. I want people to hear it. I want people to feel it. I want to play my part so that when it becomes dividends, I can bring it home. That's why I have an outfit. It was never about just working for people. It was also building something that one day, when we are looking for money, me and my wife will stand up and say, let us do this project. We are our own capital generating machine. It's a long game, but it's a goal. So the why are you there? Are you just here to be popular? Yeah, to be popular. At least you know why. So when it gets tough, you don't give up. Then you got to keep on reinventing yourself. At the time, I was the software guy. Because everybody knew Vtek was always getting something new. Vtek was always trying something new. Vtek always had those libraries nobody had. I am constantly refreshing myself, spending my money, getting world-class gear, software, basically just developing. I don't have a comfort place. The comfort is that I'm awesome. But out of it, it's a lot of developing. So your why has to be intact to help you in the hard times. You have to constantly reinvent yourself. You can't get stuck. I don't care how they make Afrobeat look like the most epic genre in the world. Music is broad. So as a producer, explore. You never know. Maybe your big break is in India, but because you are doing only one type of sound, God can make that happen. Focus. Stubbornness, but not stubbornness, just determination.
Right.
Because from the time I started chasing the dream to the time I got my first break was 7 years. In between, there were wins. I was already making money. I was already taking care of the home front as best as I could. But you see, that big break came 7 years later. Most people will not make it to the second year. Because again, their why might be I want to make money. That's okay. But please, it can't be just that. You have to put in the work. Put in the work. Reinvent yourself. Get new ideas. Explore. If I listen to songs you don't like, because what happens is your brain takes that information, mixes it, it becomes unique. Then when you get there to make it, it's just like, this guy is different. So I think these are the 3 primary things. Of course, I'd say things like invest, find a business that you can also use, because every wealthy person has multiple streams of income. All I tell people is you don't have to put yourself under pressure. Test from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, then maybe you can turn 3 to 6. Just get your why right, put in the work, and then just constantly refresh. Reinvent yourself, try new ideas, make your mistakes, risk something. You get. And time will always pay. It always does.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Vtek. Awesome in the building. All right. Your social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, for those who want to reach you.
At Vtek the Awesome. Basically, once you go on Instagram and you write Vtek, the first name that pops up. And the first and second name. So, yes, same with Twitter, Facebook, Thread. It's not even Twitter anymore, it's X.
X, right?
On X. It's the same name, Vtek the Awesome. Vtek D AWESOME. So you find me.
All right, let's cheers to more success.
I finished my cup shot.
Okay, let's cup to more success 2024.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we wrap up the show, right? And for those of you who want to follow us, Empiremind Records, check out Instagram and hit us up on Twitter as well, now known as X, and also on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, official Patrick Luke, so we get to talk. Don't drink and drive. Stay on the positive side of life all the time. See you on the next episode. Peace and love, guys.